Right, so nice and dry, so we're going to get this big summer tree up there somewhere. But when you paint a summer tree, you paint it as a winter tree first, so no leaves on. So for this, we're going to go browns, greys again. So that's the smaller brush. And the colour for this one, different colour this time. We're going to use burnt sienna. Do you remember the rusty colour again? Everybody's favourite, this one, burnt sienna. Use burnt sienna and some blue, so you get that bluey brown colour, you know. Now this brush you're working with is around about size 6, and it should have a nice point on it, even though you've just getting it some welly, yeah? But it's still there.
It's bounced back to what it was.
Yeah, it's bounced back because it's a good, rugged old little worker, this brush. So we'll use that, okay? A bit more blue maybe, and then we'll start to paint this tree. Make sure that's dry before you obviously do that, but I want to put this tree. Start at the bottom when you paint the trees and start to work your way up towards the top. So pretty much put a main trunk on, but take it thinner as you go into your sky. So it's just a main post, a main pole. So thicker at the bottom, thinner at the top, always for your winter trees. So it's the same way that you do a winter tree, really. Then start to branch out. Put another one going off at a slight angle. Then put another one. And another one. V-shapes, working in the direction the tree would actually grow, if you see what I mean, yeah? And then start to put the branches, not too many branches because you're going to cover it with leaves in a minute anyway. So just keep adding these branches all the time using the point of the brush. If you need to take it off the paper at the side, then that's fine, that's not a problem to do that. But you can see it's quite easy to do a winter tree, yeah? That's all right, so keep adding branches. Keep growing.
So if it's a little bit far this way,
take it, imagine it's going outside your frame of your picture. Just keep it growing outside. But you don't need to add too many branches to it, but what you will need to do is if you've got like a long branch with nothing happening, put some branches on. Keep adding the branches like from this, put one coming this way up there.
Okay.
Alright, a few more, and that'll do, because bear in mind you're putting the leaves on the top, the canopy of the tree, so it doesn't need too many, really, you know. That's it. Quite elegant. Let's have a gander. That's all right. Yes, it just wants a few more. Say that's quite a long.
That side.
Yeah, either side, one either side maybe on that one there, and then something coming up there as well. That's it. Something to take away from what you're doing. It's better to actually paint it away from it. So actually paint it upwards. Take it in the way that the branch actually grows, because it's thick to thin with your brush stroke.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's fine for the minute because we're going to put the green on. This can be quite a thick colour, this one, so we'll forget that brush and we'll go for the larger one. We want to give this one some hammer now, look.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll give it some welly. Okay, but we'll mix the colour first. Aureolin again, pretty thick. We can mix in the same area, same green with the blue. So you're kind of there anyway, but it wants to be a thick and heavy, juicy colour again, this one. So nice and thick, give it some hammer, like that. Give it some welly. You'll find this brush goes open a lot easier than the smaller one.
Right.
That's it. You're getting good at that welly thing, aren't you, Dave? And then just stipple.
Is that too dark?
No, it's fine. We'll put some lighter in a bit. And just start to put little, very light pressure. Start to put the actual foliage over the tree, keeping some of the branches showing.
Oh, right.
Let it dance around, you know, don't spend too much time on one spot because it's not as natural to do that. So let it just work in and imagine the shape of the tree. Keep looking at the shape of the tree as you're working on it. A little bit more like that. A little bit more juddery. Bring some over the water and so on. So it's light pressure, very light pressure as you do this. Don't sort of put splodge,
Stamp
splodge,
it down.
If your brush has gone back to a point, stick it back in there and give it some springy. A bit more wax, so it's like this. That's it. That's perfect, okay? And then just keep adding the green for a few seconds there. Think about the shape of it. Get some of the branches open at the edges. You know, like it's
Ends of the branches.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Summer trees can be quite difficult to get the shape right.
Yeah.
It takes a bit of practice, yeah?
Okay,
that's fine. What we'll do now is we'll get some yellow. Get the yellow on its own again. Pretty much straight from the pot. And then we can do some yellow straight in. So thick, heavy yellow straight in there, look, over the top. Work it in. Without dipping in there, straight in there.
I just need to do...
You're just working on your shape still, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then start to put little stipply bits. It's a simple and effective technique for doing your summer trees. It's the shape that you need to think about.
So it's that one?
This one.
Oh.
Straight in. Juicy, thick, straight from the tube.
Okay.
Let it work in. Let it work in as you do it. You might find if you put your hand on your paper, a bit more control.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So it's not so...
Yeah.
That one. and then that needs to dry off again. So that's okay for the minute. The same green what you did for the actual foliage. It's not a bad shape tree, is it really?
No, it's not now.
Is it?
Actually,
Yeah.
it's
Just a bit of work on it, yeah. The same green that you did this with, just sort of pick some up and just put a few little strokes over the top of this foreground area. Your colour's got more blue in it, so I'm pinching some of that.
Is it just to darken it a bit?
It's just to give it like some texture in the foreground. If you imagine that rough grass, you know, that sort of rough grass feeling to it, just work it in. So it's not just completely flat, you know, there. And then put little grassy flicks and things on the end, little spots. Because obviously no banking is perfectly smooth, but little spotty bits and things around there. Dotty bits, spotty bits.
Splodges.
Splodges. You're learning the lingo, aren't you, hey? Splidges and splodges. That's it. That's okay. You know that brown what you used to paint the trunk? Grab some of that and put a little bit of a shadow from the bottom of the tree, just off to one side. Couple of some sort of shadow, and then put a little bit of rough. Put a little bit of rough under the tree, a bit of shadow or something under there, you know. Then all we need to do to finish the picture off is just put this banking across there, and then it's job's a good one. Right, so we'll let that dry off for a few seconds, okay?
Okay.
While it's drying off, just to quickly recap, what you've just done is spent quite a bit of time, do practice your summer trees. Splodging.
Yeah.
Okay. It was the burnt sienna and French ultramarine for the actual branches, aureolin and French ultramarine for the actual green, and then pure yellow at the end. Okay, so let that dry off.
Okay.
Right, so nice and dry again. So what we'll do is just put this little banking across the back, that double line you sketched in. So smaller brush for this one, back to the number 6 or the worker brush, and bags of water with the green, basically. So the green what you've got in there, if you need to freshen up you can do, but it should be okay. Maybe a touch more yellow for yours actually. So just freshen up a little bit.
Quite watery.
Yeah, nowhere near as thick this time. And what I want to do with it, a bit more water for yours I think there, is just put a line across the bottom, the banking, the river line. Just put a line across there, look quite loosely painted, a single line, all the way across. That's it. Of course, if you've got it the opposite side as well, but just bring that straight through. Clean your brush, wipe it on some tissue or cloth, and then you can just use the water what's on there and just blend that line upwards so it's a bit paler at the top. So just sort of work it upwards. If you need to go again, make sure you just wipe it through that tissue and just lightly just pull the colour upwards a little bit there. Okay.
Does it need to go
Yeah,
right
take it
to
all the way
top?
across. It's just to get a little bit of a banking impression, that's all. That's okay for the minute, because what we'll do now is get some of the tree dark colour and just very lightly just darken across there.
The brown?
Yeah, so just lightly darken a line across. If you need to freshen up, then obviously you can do that as well, but just pull the line across very simply. And then again, if you've got a little flick there as well, but that's pretty much the idea. Just separates the banking from the foreground. And very quickly you could put one or two little impressions of branches and little flicks at the background there. It makes a difference when you put these on.
Yeah.
Yeah, always does.
A bit more detail.
A bit more detail, yeah. Just put the odd little flick at the bottom there. That's it. You know, put like a few little branches. I'll not paint it for you. I'll let you do that. Nearly. Just put one or two branches growing upwards, and some birds maybe. The colour's dark enough to get away with the birds. You ain't good at them birds,
I'm
aren't
just
you?
going to say I can do birds now.
No problem with them. Birds and people.
Yeah.
The blue from the sky very quickly. Just pick some of the blue up. Final thing, and just sort of stroke the colour on some tissue there. So it's that dry brush again. Paint with the side of your brush. And as before, just put some texture, a few ripples in the foreground. And I think that's probably a finished picture there. Right, so if you ever got looking with a mount on there then, just so it can nicely frame up. It makes such a difference when you put a mount on your picture. And of course you can just move it around slightly.
Yeah, move it around, yeah.
Cover the bad bits.
Yeah.
Okay, so well done, superb.
It's good.
Guess what the homework is?
What?
Practicing
Trees.
summer trees. It's something what you really need to spend a little bit of time on.
Yeah.
Check out the website for details, and I'll see you next time.
this is my 5th painting. I've learnt different techniques about trees, and I think it's turned out really well. I'm really pleased with it, and it's been so easy.